Thank you. So let's talk about that offense, that run game. I mean, over 200 yards compared to the 2 that you gave up. Kind of just talk about that run game.
Well, I think it started up front. Our offensive line, it's been a tough week, obviously, with those guys. I mean, we battled some sickness all week long, so had guys, out of practice. And so I think the biggest takeaway from that was I was proud of the way that we did run the ball. When you have 2 rushers gain, over 100 yards, that was very impressive. And I just like the mentality that Jeremiah and Robon both had. I mean, they were getting the ball, running behind their pads, and so was very excited to see that. And that was good for us to maintain that kind of balance where you have 200 plus yards rushing and 200 plus yards passing. And I thought we kind of kept them off balance a little bit by that way.
How happy are you with the way that the team played for a game that they were supposed to win? Kind of like how Missouri was supposed to win the game. How do you feel like they played a game that they were supposed to win? Yeah,
like I said, there were just a lot of challenges last week from the standpoint of, you come off of playing and doing some good things against Missouri. I wouldn't say that we played well. We made too many critical mistakes in order to give ourselves a chance to win that game, which we were obviously disappointed in. But just all week long, people constantly talking with our players about the performance in the Missouri game, and so we had to be able to manage distractions, and that's hard to do sometimes. And then going into a game where now you're playing a Division II opponent, and I said now the roles are reversed. It's the same difference. I mean, from the scholarship limitations, Division II programs can really sometimes bring in a quality player because maybe whether it be through academics or transfer status, they're not able to get into certain Division I programs, but they have Division I talent. So when you couple all that together, and then we had all kinds of crazy sickness going on through our program, not making excuses and not going to take anything away from Western New Mexico. They've got a good young team, and they're talented. They've made plays, and so I give them credit for that as well. But being able to manage distractions is part of building a winning culture and a winning mindset.
And like you said last week, you want to be 5-0 at home. You're one step closer being 3-0 now. I know you're on the road for 2 weeks, but just soaking in that home win again. How did that feel in the locker room?
You know what? It's good. Like I've said, and I said to them again after this game, winning is hard. And there's just so much that goes into it from a preparation standpoint, and everyone has good players. Everyone is talented. These teams they've been well coached, and so you've got to go out and you've got to make sure that you're doing the things each week that it takes to win, and you can't cut corners. So it was exciting, and you don't want to ever not celebrate winning, and that's what I'm trying to get these guys to understand. Some of our guys didn't think that they performed up to the standard, and that's okay, but you still have to be able to come in there in that locker room and enjoy it with your teammates and be able to celebrate.
Carrie.
All right. Talk to me about Ethan Long a little bit. He really stepped up to the plate on Saturday. So tell me about him.
Yeah, not surprising to me at all. To me, I don't think, and I said this through fall camp, even when Peyton was still at quarterback and the competition, I mean, every one of them at different periods of time would have their day. And eventually we had to choose a starting quarterback. I don't think anyone lost the starting quarterback job as much as, hey, we chose, hey, we're going this direction, and we had already gone into the game planning on playing Ethan in the third series of the game, and it just happened to work out. He came in, got the ball moving, so we rode the hot hand, kind of like what we've done at running back, over the course of the last couple of weeks. And the guy that's making plays, we just continue to ride them, and that's what we did with Ethan. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, anytime you have character and integrity and live your life, and just the way you prepare, the way he does everything, okay, it doesn't surprise me that equates to success on the football field. So it didn't really surprise me once he came in, and I knew he was prepared. Just I'd watched the practice that he had all week long, and when he moved us down the field on a couple of different occasions, we just stayed with a hot hand, and very proud of him for being ready when his number was called.
How does it feel to be able to have that dynamic, be able to use like two quarterbacks whenever you need them and right off the hot hand?
I think it's I don't know if you can put a value on it, because I take over the last 5 years. I just look at the number of quarterbacks on teams that I've been on. We've gone all the way down to our 4th team quarterback before, after being undefeated through five football games. And you can't win unless you have a quarterback. So I think the value of having 2 quarterbacks that can both come in and operate and run and manage our offense, I think it's a great situation to be in, and we just got to continue to develop both those guys, and our players have confidence in both of them, and as well as our staff.
You guys are hitting the road this week. Y'all are heading to St. George, Utah, to play Utah Tech. So what's that matchup looking like so far? Have you been able to watch film yet?
Oh yeah. We've obviously we come in and we put the game to bed yesterday, and then we start looking at all the previous games that our opponent upcoming is. We look at what they've done through the first 4 weeks as well, and they're a well-coached team that run and shoot on offense. Defensively, they're a 4-3. They play quarters and cover 3 and man free, and so we just will continue to dissect them throughout the course of the week, but really not taking anything away from anyone. We got to make sure that we get things corrected, that we the mistakes that we made on Saturday, and make sure we get that fixed first, and then you start preparing that game plan, and we'll finalize it toward the end of this evening and move forward. So I'm excited to go on the road, and it's conference play. So what you see on film sometimes is not always what you get. People raise their level of play when you get into conference, because now you're playing for a championship, and that is on the line, and every game is important. And to be able to win those championships, you have to go on the road and win.
So what kind of things do you want the team to correct heading into next week?
I think offensively, just developing a consistency, and I think we got to get better on 3rd down. Defensively, we're doing a nice job on 3rd down. Offensively, we're doing a great job in the red zone. We hadn't had many opportunities red zone defense, so I've been very proud of trying to score touchdowns in the red zone, and I think our offense has done a great job of that. But I think the biggest thing for me is let's go out and play a complete game, on both sides of the football, and then obviously coming out the gate faster. I think we got to get started, in the first quarter, and we're going to look at the way we're doing some things to try to help correct that.
Thanks, Coach.
I know it's I think only like a 1 hour time zone difference, but it is a late kickoff there in Utah. How will that, I would assume you were like most coaches who would love to play at 11 a.m. and hates waiting around all day on Saturday. How does a late kickoff change your preparation?
For us, it'll be the same time, from a standpoint of what we've been doing here for the first, other than the Missouri game, the first 3 weeks here at home. It's been, we have a schedule, and we'll just stick to it, and we're very routine oriented, so it will be the same as if we're playing a home game from a time standpoint, meetings, walkthroughs, and gives the guys time, a little downtime, watch a little college football on Saturday afternoon. So for us, it's just a normal game day operation, and I always believed that college football was meant to be played on Saturday afternoon. That's the way I grew up watching it and the way I grew up playing it. So, but you know what, you got to adapt, and we've got a pretty good schedule, I think, on Saturday. I feel good about.
How did Maverick respond to, I know the plan was for Ethan to get in, but for Ethan to stay in, how did Maverick respond to that?
Yeah, I always point to, he handled it great. Like I always try to prep young men, how are you going to handle if you're not playing? You know, what happens to you when things don't go your way, you know, like, I mean, I think all you can really do is tip your hat to Ethan. I mean, you come in, you go, you know, I think he was, whatever it was, I can't remember, like 22 out of 34, you know, completion rate, and those a couple of touchdown passes. So you got to be happy for a young man that sat there and I mean, you got to handle it just exactly the way he'd handled it, you know, when he didn't win the job. So I try to prepare guys before it ever happens. Be not that way it doesn't become reactive. And I've been trying. Really, the message too, the whole week with all of our players, you know, is to do, you know, continue to love, become like-minded, love your teammates, care for your teammates, unify, become one, and then do nothing out of selfish or vain conceit. So to do that, you got to sometimes surrender to your way of doing things and put the team first, and that's just what being a part of a team sport teaches you. It teaches you life lessons, and Maverick handled it great, just like I knew he would. And I point our entire team toward a young man like Peyton Mansell. I said, look at his career, look at the things that he's overcome, yet he's with the most popular guy on the team, and he's he's our leader, he's our captain. So I think if you want to know what an example to emulate, it's Peyton and what he's done for our football team. And yeah, he's been here. He's a fifth-year guy, and he still is leading our team, and he's not even starting. But you saw the reaction after he made the interception of our team and what they think of him.
I was going to ask about that. What was that like to see him get that?
It was awesome. I made an illustration of that yesterday. When you see the reaction, the entire bench basically swarmed out onto the field and was jumping up and patting him on the helmet. And that I love seeing stuff like that, because that shows that we're moving in the right direction. When your teammates get that excited from watching you make a play, and because they know everything that the young man's been through, but just the model that he is for our program is incredible.
What will your quarterback plan look like for this week?
Yeah, that's what we'll discuss that today, and you know, obviously, I think you reward performance, and I mean that's just the nature of the business, and we'll look at it hard, and you know, we'll make a decision, and we'll move forward, and we'll see how that looks this week.